Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Life in Sport podcast. And we're joined by an absolutely ripper guest. You guys who follow rugby league, may have remember him from back in his days at the Wars or the Panthers or the Tigers, or anyone over in England may remember him from his time at Salford, Featherstone, and recently with Oldham. His name's Elijah Taylor. Thank you for joining me today, your time, tonight, my time. And how was your weekend just gone?
Yeah, weekend was good. We played yesterday. We got knocked out of the Challenge Cup. We played
Oh,
Swindon,
Swindon
and
Town,
yeah,
was it?
that was in Manchester.
Okay.
Yeah, so they had a good team, Swinton, but yeah, I did my hemi, so I missed half the game. So I'm pretty
Oh, So,
disappointed with
so,
it.
so it was like in the first half when you did it too.
At the end of the first half, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So I've done my hemis before, and yeah, it's just a frustrating injury because you just don't know when it's right again, and it's
yeah,
like
okay.
it's hard to gauge injuries. So, but other than that, bro, it's all right.
That's good. Well, how was the preseason then leading this, summer our time, winter your time over there?
It's a lot different. It's a
Yeah.
lot different than I'm used to in New Zealand or in Australia. In preseason, you're putting on sunscreen all the time.
Yeah.
You're
Whereas you
wearing
put
the
on
sun,
puffer jackets over there, sort of thing.
putting on scarves to train, putting on scarves and masks.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
the
different
little
world.
the things that people wear to go
Yeah,
fishing here, you wear to protect
yeah,
your nose and stuff over there.
yeah, you wear that. You wear hoodies when you're training.
Jeez.
It's a different world. Like we trained in snow. Like it's just
Wow.
like, bro, yeah, bro. Like you got to
That's
deal with like sometimes your field freezing. So when it's frozen, your field will turn into concrete. So you knock on it, it just feels like concrete. So you can't train.
jeez. I
So,
mean, you'd want to hope it's not frozen on game day.
bro, or there's a lot of games over here that get postponed because
Oh, because of
the
that.
yeah, definitely that's a big reason. So
Jeez.
yeah, there's a lot of different factors here and different things you have to contend with.
Mm, absolutely, because as you said, it's chalk and cheese with the weather and whatnot. And my first question for you in particular about your career, obviously, is careers in sports start, at the very base raw level, 6, 7 years old, etc. So my question is for you is, what's your earliest memory of rugby league?
Rugby league would be earliest memory would probably be watching the Warriors
Yep,
grand final.
the
That
O2
was
grand
what
final.
grand final, yeah. Um, yeah, I remember watching that. And my first game of league was in a town called Muriwa
Okay.
in the far of New Zealand. It
Mm-hmm.
was for Kara, and that was I was like 16 when I first played a game of league.
Because you played Union
So
before that, didn't you?
yeah, like all young lads in New Zealand, you're all playing union until you get a bit older and you discover league. And
It's kind of the opposite in Australia. You play league until you play Union, sort of thing.
yeah, it is. And yeah, it's definitely in New Zealand. League is very small in rural towns, rural countries. The league center is obviously Auckland,
Yeah.
uh, and that's where that's where all the you have to go to play in a decent competition. To be honest,
Okay. And obviously, as you said, your first sort of exposure to playing rugby league wasn't until around 15, 16 years old, but that's sort of a meteoric rise from, getting your first game in rugby league at 16 when most people who make it professionally start playing at like age of 8 to making it to the NRL. So my next question for you is, throughout that time of when you were 15, 16, at what point did you realize, you know what? I reckon I'm good enough to have a crack at the NRL sort of thing.
um, I don't know. I was always like confident, and about when I was about 16, when I first went to the Warriors training and development, and we had a lot of players from different schools. They went there and trained on a Monday night and a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And yeah, just rubbing shoulders with some first grade lads when I was young,
Yeah.
kind of gave me that encouragement.
Yeah, and that
Meeting,
confidence sort of thing.
yeah, definitely. When Simon played, I trained with Simon and Jerome and Manu and that.
All of these
It
names,
gives you,
just goosebumps.
yeah, it gives you that confidence when you're a young fella.
Yeah,
Um, but we had a really good culture there at the Warriors, which was so important. Like
absolutely.
there were no, we didn't have a big punting culture. Uh, like some Aussie clubs, bro, massive punting
There's
culture,
definitely some
huge.
clubs that have that. Absolutely.
Yeah, and we had the leaders there too, bro. We had like Steve Price, Ruben Wiki, Lance Hire, Simon, Michael Luck, just hard-working lads, good lads, and it just rubbed off on all of us young fellas, eh?
Yeah. Now that's really awesome to hear. And obviously you ended up making your first grade NRL debut for the Wars in 2011, something that you would have worked very hard towards from when you started as a youngster at 16 years old. What was it like, for the week leading up to that game, from when you're told, right, Elijah, you're gonna be playing this week to, playing your first game of professional NRL?
Yeah, bro, I can't thank Ivan enough for the opportunity he gave me when I was young. He backed me when I was a young fella, and I remember that office talk. We lost the first three games of 2011 season,
Yep.
and he brought me into the office and he was like, congratulations, you're playing first grade this week. Um, it was more of a relief, to be honest, because I was supposed to
Okay.
make my debut 2 years earlier.
Okay. Yep.
Um, I did my hammy. I had some I
Yep.
had some injuries, and but no, it was good to get that back in from Ive. I've got so much time for him. I owe him so much, bro, because he's changed my life. Honestly,
Yeah.
he's changed my life.
That's
So shout out.
that's really
But
awesome to hear. Yeah. Continue. Sorry.
yeah, yeah. So and then yeah, we went on the bus to Topol the next day to play against the Sharks. Um, yeah, it was a bit of a baptism by fire, bro. Because Sharks they had a massive forward pack.
Yeah, they did.
Take it, Gallen, Jeremy Smith, Ben Cross, Ben Pomeroy, Timmy, the Manor brother, he was there as well.
Yeah, yeah.
They had a big,
Not Timmy Manor, but his brother. Yeah,
yeah, brother Anthony Tupou was there as well, bro. They had a massive
that's a
pack, so it was a good
stacked
team.
forward pack.
Yeah, definitely.
No, that's honestly really awesome to hear, and absolutely, Ivan is obviously well nowadays the proof's in the pudding as to he's the genuine threat as a coach, let alone as a player. What was it like? Obviously, another question about that in particular, as in Ivan Cleary, but also the O2 and 2011 was because O2 was your earliest memory of watching, rugby league, which was the Wars Grand Final, which Ivan played in, to then being coached by Ivan. Was that sort of a pinch me moment for you?
Um, it was when I first met him. I think we were
Okay.
on a camp, and Ivan came and talked to us, and I just remember thinking, man, I remember watching him growing up,
Yeah.
and yeah, like having dinner next to him, like it was crazy because we were all young kids, obviously, and he came to do a speech with us for us. Yeah, just really appreciate those little moments, but it was a bit of a penny drop moment when when I got to finally meet him after watching him on TV.
Oh, absolutely. Um, and obviously tangenting into after your pretty successful first year of first grade NRL with the Wars, you get a call up to the New Zealand Kiwis. Again, what was it like getting that call up to, represent New Zealand?
Bro, I couldn't believe it, to be honest, because they'd already named the team,
Yep.
and then two lads pulled out. I think Shawnee pulled out because of his back,
Yep.
and then I got a call up, which I was very grateful. Shout out to Mooks, Steve Kearney for giving me the opportunity. I took it for granted a bit, to be honest. I look back because I always thought I was going to make it. I was a bit arrogant with that.
Okay.
Um,
Would
but,
it be arrogant or
you
would it just be overconfident sort of thing, do you reckon?
oh, a bit of both, bit of
Okay.
both. But I thought it was always going to happen. I thought we were always going to make the grand final. I thought we were always going to
Yep.
make the.
Gotcha.
That's not right. Like, it's ambitious, but it's naive, and at the same time. But yeah, I was looking back, bro. I'm just gutted I didn't really spend time with the lads. I was a bit too focused, too driven.
To in the
Um,
moment sort of thing.
yeah. Like I just wanted to train all the time instead of just hanging out with the Kiwi lads. And I should have, in hindsight, bro, I should have got to know them all.
Yep.
Because I really realize now, bro, relationships are everything.
Absolutely.
Like everything, bro. So yeah, if I could change something, I would have done that differently.
Okay, well, obviously, luckily you got a few more chances, you could say. You ended up playing 17 professional matches, international for the Kiwis. Did you learn from that in that first sort of match, or did you sort of realize that, three or four matches for the Kiwis into it sort of thing?
Yeah, I probably realized it in the last World Cup in 2017 I played with. Like
Yep.
just to make an effort, spend time with the lads, get to know them. What are they doing away from the field? How are their families? Like how many kids do they have? Just the small things, bro, that I didn't do on my first camps. So I really enjoyed my last camp and socialized with the boys a lot more. But yeah, all a learning experience.
Yeah, of course, of course. Because as long as you learn from it, then that's exactly what it is, a learning experience. So after the Kiwis, sorry, not the Kiwis, after your time at the Wires, I mean they are Kiwis technically. You end up going across the ditch to Australia and setting camp up in Penrith. What was it like going from one system of, established team to the Penrith Panthers?
It was very similar because
Yeah.
Ivan obviously went there.
Yeah. Was that the
Yeah,
reason he was like, "Hey, I want you over at the Panthers," sort of thing?
yeah. Before he left, we had a conversation on Man Monday actually, and he was just saying like, keen to come over. um, yeah, I'll be keen. And then I was like, okay, yeah, sweet. And then sure enough, it happened, and the system was very similar compared to the Warriors. But in Penrith, bro, you could just see the juniors.
Yeah.
Oh man, when like Bryce Cartwright was young, Yowie was young,
Yeah.
all the
You could
boys.
see what was coming, sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Fish, Corey Hadawira, um, Billy Army, bro. And I was thinking, I'm not going to be here long because these fellas, bro, these fellas are going to come of age and
Yeah.
then, they're from the junior system. And Gus always said when he told me this is going to be a development club,
Yeah.
we just
Okay.
need to set the standard kind of thing. Um, but I'm content with my time in Penrith. It didn't end the way I wanted to, but it's great to see the success they're having right now. And
Of course.
shout out to he deserves that success. 2015, bro, he got shafted by that club,
He really did.
and
Absolutely.
for him to go back and win three comps, like bro, make history, crazy, crazy. That's awesome, man.
Well, win three comps and play in, as in win three grand finals and play in four in a row again as well. It's absolutely testament to the person and the coach that he is. And obviously, as you said, your time didn't end the ideal way if you'd have had it your way, sort of thing at Penrith. But you ended up going to the Tigers, who, lo and behold, if I'm not mistaken, Ivan was the coach at the time. He may not have been; it could have been Madge by that point. But you ended up going to the Tigers. And again, what was it like going from the Panthers system to the Tigers?
There was a big difference, bro. There's a big drop in
Oh wow!
yeah, big
As in like
drop in
facilities, sort of thing.
facilities in terms of development pathways. So I left Penrith, like Fish made his debut, Billy made his debut, Moses made his debut, Wanga Blake making his debut. Like all these juniors, Yowie,
Yep.
all these Liam, they're all making their debuts at Penrith. So I got to Tigers, and there weren't much juniors at all. Like
Wow.
I Alex Safar
Yep.
and Tommy McKaylee. That's the only
Yep.
two that came through.
He's
So
everyone else sort of went to other clubs before they got to
yeah,
the like New South Wales Cup sort of side.
well, there wasn't much, juniors that were ready to play.
Oh
Where I
wow.
left Penrith, it was a different story, bro. All those
Yeah,
youngsters were ready to
well, look at what's happened because of that exactly with Penrith, but at the Tigers,
play.
it sounds like chalk and cheese sort of thing.
Yeah, bro. That's what I noticed too, straight away. Um, but no, I enjoyed my time at Tigers. I worked hard. I gave it my best crack. When I look
Yeah.
back on it, I gave it my best crack, bro. And that's if you
Well,
can
that's
say that
all.
after,
That's exactly it.
yeah,
As long as you tried your best, gave everything you had, then win, loss or draw, you can't be disappointed with your personal and individual, achievements, etc. At the end of the day, sort of thing, because you've done everything you can.
yeah, definitely. That's all I can say. And I can rest easy knowing that. I look back, if I dogged it a bit, I would say, oh man, what didn't you do? Why didn't you have a better crack? It might have been different.
Yeah.
But bro, I gave it my best crack there, bro.
Oh, absolutely. And then obviously, once your time at the Tigers ended, you jetted off over to the other side of the world, not just a ditch, but the other side of the globe, over to the UK for Salford, a stint at Salford, some time at Featherstone, and now landing up in Oldham at the moment. What's it been like over there? And again, same sort of questions. What was Salford like and Featherstone, like the facilities, the club, the fans, etc.?
So Salford was coming to Super League was a big eye opener. There's no RLPA.
There's not an
There's a huge
RLPA over there.
so players get shafted
I see. I,
so bad.
I knew they got shafted. I just didn't know that there wasn't an RLPA or equivalent over there.
No, nothing. The players get nothing here. Um, schedule's crazy. We're playing 30 games. There's no minimum wage.
No,
There's
no minimum
other.
wage. That's
uh,
insane.
I had a teammate. He was getting £10,000 a year, like full time professional.
How's he living and surviving? Jeez.
Yeah,
Wow.
crazy. But there's a bit of an eye opener compared to
Hmm.
competitions. Uh, you, NRL is just so far ahead of so many different avenues, so many
Well,
different
well,
things.
speaking of that, there was a bit of news like the other day where there was rumors that the NRL is considering putting a bid in to buy out the Super League sort of thing. What would you think about that?
Absolutely. Me and
Yeah.
Shane, right? Shane, we talked about this 2 years ago
Yep.
because we were saying, bro, this is not right, man. Like players, talented players, there's no retirement account, there's no injury hardship account, there's no education allowance, there's nothing, bro. It's bad. It's
Wow.
so bad.
And yet what's
Uh,
crazy is rugby league was invented in England, in Huddersfield,
yeah,
and yet they're behind, as you're saying.
it's a long way down, man. So
Jeez.
it's a lot. Yeah, it's disappointing, but good lads, good players over here, man. Some
Hmm.
really good players,
Some
but
absolute
they just have
talent.
talent, bro. A lot of people players with talent here.
And
Um,
honestly, you've got to love the sport. Obviously now hearing that from you, knowing that, there's no this, that, the other, no RLPA sort of thing, you've got to love the sport. Otherwise, you wouldn't commit to playing a profession at a professional top tier level and not have the potential of injury insurance, not have the, have not, could be on 10 grand for the whole year sort of thing. You've got to love the sport, which kind of makes sense as to why, example, the recent World Club Challenge. Granted, there was a little bit of controversy, but it meant so much more to the Brits than it did to, Australia
oh,
sort of thing.
oh, bro, absolutely. Like those games sell out. Like whenever an NRL team comes here, it's like the talk of the town. It's the
Yep.
talk of the game. Like say if the Broncos came over here, played Leeds for a trial, they'll be a sellout.
You know what's crazy? I
Um,
follow the Broncos and my Super League team I follow is Leeds. So that would be
yeah,
insane.
it'd be a sellout. Bro. But that's how much people. There were more games of NRL over here than Super League games on TV. It's like,
Oh wow. That's a bit that if anything, you know what? That perfectly sums up exactly what you've been saying about the Super League in general over the last few minutes.
yeah, it's bro. I could go on for ages, but it's uh it's just disappointing to see how the players have been treated for so long over here. And it's yeah, there's just so much things I would change if I had the opportunity to change the game because can I feel sorry for some of the English lads here because they've just been shafted their whole career.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
In
not
place of an NRL player that's been a marquee signing sort of thing sometimes.
yeah, and like just with COVID, bro, they all took a massive pay cut, got no money back from the game. Where NRL they paid us back from the
Yeah,
game.
the RLP like the RLPA fought for that sort of thing.
Yeah, small things like that, bro. And there's just no player's voice at the negotiating table. It's really disappointing. But hopefully the NRL can buy it. It'll be a good option.
Well, because if they do that, then they'll definitely put in place those sort of systems, which are, as you say, and I definitely agree, desperately needed. Um, I've got some quick fire fun questions, so I get to know you for the listeners and whatnot, and then we'll touch on footy hacks and then your goals for the rest of the year, if that's right by you.
Cool.
Sweet. So the quick fire questions. First one is Apple or Android?
Apple,
Absolutely. What's your favorite movie of all time?
Men of Honor,
Man of Honor, good movie. How do you like your steak?
medium rare,
Absolutely. And I won't say thongs because you're Kiwi. I'll say jandals or Crocs.
jandals.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. So that's quick fire. Before we get stuck into talking about footy hacks, which is a great initiative from what you've started on Instagram, anyone who's listening right now, pause the episode and go and follow footy_hacks on Instagram. Before we delve into that, my first question is, as in about your team in particular, who was the biggest pest out of all the clubs that you played at in Australia?
James Seguiaro.
James, okay, I've heard that from a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
yeah, Chico. All the good banter. All
Oh,
good
oh,
banter.
oh, absolutely. It's not a bad pest. It's just a yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And obviously, I think I know the answer to this one, but I'd rather ask it and find out first. But um, obviously, coaches play an absolutely pivotal role in a player's development as a youngster. to even, the man they are that they end up as. And my next question is, which coach or coaches ever had those sort of biggest impacts on the player you are and the person you are today?
Yep, Ivan by far.
Yep.
Ivan by far. Tony Iro is in there as well.
Yep.
Sponge, shout out to Sponge, but Ivan definitely, bro. Everything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As I said, I figured that would be the answer, but I wanted to ask it rather than assume. And okay, footy hacks time. First of all, to anyone who doesn't know, again, pause this episode, go and check out footy hacks on Instagram, then come back over here and finish up and listen to what Elijah has to say about it. My first question about footy hacks is, what was the inspiration behind starting up footy hacks?
Bro, I was just watching a Gary V video, to be honest.
Yeah.
The me and Copy, so we used to drive to Featherstone. It was about an hour every training session,
Yep.
and we were just talking about rugby league, bro. And we were just talking about all the times you've been shafted. We're talking about all the times you've been injured.
Yep.
And then we're just thinking, bro, we're just like, why don't we just talk about that?
Mm.
Because there's no other people that talk about that and what a player goes through and that. And so
Yeah.
that's where it started. So most of them are in my car.
I was going to
So
say, I kind of noticed it was your head leaning on the window sort of thing, isn't it?
yeah. So it's usually when I'm waiting to train
Yep.
because we have to wait for a 3G because the fields are frozen or fields are solid over.
Yep.
And yeah, bro, I just flipped the camera around one day and just started talking. So I hope, yeah, it struck a nerve. I
Yeah.
think it's a different niche that
It
no one else
really
is
is.
on.
It's
So hopefully,
everyone talks about, sorry to interrupt. It's like everyone talks about certain things about, aspects of footy life, but they don't go into it as, even though your videos are only, 45 seconds, minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes max, but you cover so much in such a short amount of time for each reel. It's incredible. You cover so much because there's so much that goes on in behind the scenes that even obviously I'm not aware of, and fans and listeners, and even maybe even other players aren't aware of, that you hit that information within 2 minutes max, and it's really awesome.
yeah, hopefully, like I just want to get a good message out of each reel, something educational, so something that someone can take away, a bit of a call to action
Mm.
that makes people do something.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like life hacks, but with footy, you could say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there's a lot through sport. There's a lot you can learn about life through sport.
Yeah,
Going through
absolutely.
adversity, working hard. Yeah, always being diligent, respectful. So hopefully, everyone, no matter, you don't even have to play rugby league. You could listen to one and be like, oh yeah, that happens at my workplace. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
that guy.
you can implement
Yeah,
that in your everyday life. Everyone has a mate like that. Exactly.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. So it's adaptable to any workspace. But the workspace is that I come from is rugby league.
yeah, absolutely. And my three favorite reels, or you could say hacks, that you've posted so far, I will put up right now into the video when the episode goes out, so that way everyone that's watching this can see those three footy hacks. And if you like what you see, go and give Elijah a follow on footy_hacks. My favorite three ones would definitely be the one where it's the bloke that talks the most, the most smack in the sheds before the 2 minute bell, and then you got to be prepared to back it up. Absolutely paramount. Um, Definitely agree with that one. The other one was, we were talking about this before we actually started recording, was coaches that have a two-tier punishment system. They'll get found out by the players, and the players will get so off it, which is
Yep.
like tenfold. I can agree with that. That out of whoop, one moment, my microphone buggered up. I'll just fix that up.
Right, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Oh, okay, cool, cool. And the second video is the one about the coaches with a two-tier punishment system. Example, the favorite player, the superstar, gets preferential treatment when they should be held accountable for doing something really wrong on the field or on the training pitch. And I think that can, as you were saying, these sort of videos can even be relatable to work, because that if that isn't relatable when it comes to managers having favorite workers, and punishing them differently, or holding them accountable in a different way, I don't know what is. My third, I wouldn't say it's my third favorite, it's just my third pick out of all of them, would definitely be the one, and it's a recent one as well, is if you're signing for a club, sort of thing, don't tell anyone. It's not their business, this, that, the other, because eventually someone will know. And again, that's so transferable into work. Say you're not liking your job, sort of thing, and you get another job and you plan to leave the job, then go. But don't tell anyone, because everyone's going to find out eventually when you put your 2 weeks notice in, for
Yeah,
a better term, sort of thing. So
yeah.
as you said, they're all transferable and interrelated for life and sport and all that sort of stuff. So, which is kind of paramount and kind of great when it comes to the podcast, because the podcast is called Life in Sport. So that's kind of ripper. And how are you handling the reception so far from, the feedback and whatnot of Footy Hacks?
It's a bit time consuming, to be fair.
Yep.
Replying back to all the comments, giving good feedback, replying back to people, making new content. It's quite strenuous, but I need to find a workflow. That's what I'm trying to find, so I can do it like methodically, like all
Yep.
things in life. So I'm just trying to nut out the workflow at the minute, so I'm being efficient with my time. That's probably the hard bit at the moment, but the reception's been good, which is good. As I said before, it's educational, so you can call to action. You can use it like simple things, and everybody can implement it in their life. So it's good.
Oh, absolutely. And my final question for you for the episode is, what's your life goals and what's your footy goals for 2024? Pardon me.
It would be at the age of my career, but I know it's not a goal, but when you get older, injuries you pick up so much more really quick. It would be obviously get to championship with Oldham. So we're in third division. So we're
Yep.
trying to get up to Super League. So we're 2 divisions away.
Yep.
I'm very confident that we can get up to second division to championship.
Yep.
And I was trying to get to 20K followers on Instagram on Footy Hacks. So
Yep.
just trying to work the algorithm and nut it out and see how I can crack it, and then just keep posting. And yeah, hopefully I can affect people's lives, bro. I can change some young fella's life out there, give them some advice, give them some tips, bro. Yeah, so hopefully it can help someone.
That's awesome. I am looking away, but I'm actually looking at Footy Hacks, so I can let you know. Go. You're currently 1,555 followers, which is incredible. The content that you're putting out and whatnot, and I reckon you'll smash out 20K followers by at least, if not by the end of the season that's kicked off, even by half. If you keep going the way you're going, it's incredible and absolutely paramount to your hard work and your for lack of a better term. And as you were saying, want to get Super League, I reckon Oldham could definitely at least get promoted to the championship and do a just making sure my microphone's still on. Yep, sweet, microphone's still
Yeah,
on.
cool,
So
cool, cool.
headphones were buggering up for some reason.
Cool.
But yeah, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. And I would end of the season for like a 2024 season, holds up at the end of the year, and we can talk about Footy Hacks and where you are now with Footy Hacks to where it will be at. If you're interested.
Yeah, sweet as, bro. Anytime. Thank you for the opportunity to come on to your show. Really appreciate it.